I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! Here in the UK. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you turning up for this little craft along video. I try and keep my videos fairly short and straight to the crafting, not waffling too much, just because that's how I like to watch the videos. Just come on, get on with the crafting. I'll share with you some ideas and inspiration for your paper crafting projects. And as a Stampin' Up! Demo, I mainly use Stampin' Up! Products. I think sort of 99.9% of the stuff that I use is Stampin' Up! Why do I use Stampin' Up? Because the products are amazing. The coordination is just fantastic. You can use an ink colour and it matches with some designer series paper or some ribbon, and it takes all of that guesswork and that thinking time out. You just know that things are going to coordinate, and I absolutely love that because I can get on with the creating bit. Why else do I like them? Just because there's a whole community of crafters that are very loyal to Stampin' Up! And it's really nice. We all share. Everyone just shares ideas and inspiration, and it's just a lovely place to be and a wonderful family to be part of. So in my video today, I will try not to talk a lot, and I will share some tips along the way just as we're creating, just so that you can get the best value out of your stash or whatever you purchase. You can shop with me if you're in the UK at createdtheottaway.co.uk. If there's something that you see and you think, oh, I'd love to have that, just go onto my website, and you will also be able to sign up for my newsletter there. My newsletter gives you, lets you know about all the Stampin' Up! Offers that are happening, when there's a great join-in offer like there is at the moment, and my crafty events and workshops. Some are online, some are in person, so all sorts of things going on. So enough waffle, let's get crafting. The annual catalogue this time, how are you loving it? We've had it a little while now. I have to say, when I first saw it, I wasn't loving the cover, but open it up and there's so much inside. It's like, where do you even start? So we are going to start on page 111. Just because today's make uses this, the Fresh as a Daisy suite. It gives you a really good idea of what's in the pack. So you can order a suite collection where you get the stamp set and the dies and the paper, and I think with this one it's some solid gems as well, and they are absolutely gorgeous. The paper, it shows you the colours under there, so you know what card to coordinate with. And the stamp set, that's real size, so that's really lovely as well. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ideas of projects you can make there. So the catalogue is a really good thing to get your hands on. If you've got a demonstrator near you, just request one. Just because it's bursting with ideas, and when you've lost your mojo a bit, or you just don't even know where to start, you can just flick through any of the pages and there's just so much inspiration. So enough about that. So the cards that we're going to make today, I've really got into pillar cards. What do I mean by that? It's got a pillar on the side or a pillar both sides, and there's loads and loads of different versions out there. So if you decide like me, oh, I really like this style of card, just go on YouTube and put in pillar cards, and you'll just see loads and loads of different ones. I did one recently that was a floating frame card that I really liked. This one is a side pillar card. What that means is we have got a pillar just on one side. Now some of the other cards that I've seen, they have that and they stand like that, and then you put your message on the back. I don't know, what would you call me? An introvert, even though I'm doing YouTube videos? I'm not sure. I like my message to be hidden inside, or in a place that makes the person receiving the card sort of really get a feel of the card and have a look at it and turn it over. And so this is what I've done with this one. I've actually used a base card, and then I've put this pillow on the front and this bit here. Now you can see, if I stop moving about quite so much, that it's stands quite proud of the front of the card, but it does fold down flat for posting. So, okay, what do we need first? Okay, let's move that. We need 3 pieces of card. So you need one for the base card, one for the pillow and one for this. And the sizes are there. I will talk you through those. And then this bit, like I said, I use the Daisy Suite. So I can bring these over without them falling. So this is the Daisy dies. Okay, let's move that card for a minute. Oh, can't get hold of it. So you get some outline dies. These are outline dies, so they will die cut just a big daisy shape. And then you can layer them with these pieces and they just bring the daisy to life. So for instance, you can die cut the big one here and then put that layer on top, and it just gives you that added 3D dimension. Okay, there's a whole big one there, which is the one we're actually using today. Now you could still die cut that and cut that into 3 separate daisies, and the leaf is attached, and you'll see on mine that I actually cut the leaf off of the one just because it's slightly too big for the front of the card. There's this for your sentiment, just a die cut shape. There's a sprig here that comes out really lovely. So you could use it for seaweed as well. I like dies that you can use for different things. So that's really good as well. And then there's a leaf shaped die and a stem as well, just along there, which again, you could use for something else, I'm sure. That could be a broomstick for a witch or a wizard or anything like that. So yeah, have a think outside the box and just look at your dies. If you're trying to get the best value out of what you buy, don't just think flower dies makes flowers. Just have a look at what else little dies you get in there. So that's the Cheerful Daisies dies. Now the stamp set. The stamp set is like this. You get a couple of sentiments with 2 fonts, and then you get the daisies for you to stamp as well. I think we're going to stamp the leaves today and these little middle bits of the daisies, and that is that. So, and then the other thing I used on the inside of the card is one of these deckled triangles. Okay, and that's the other one that I used. Everything else I think is fairly simple. So we will start to craft. So the first thing we need to do is make our base card. So you need a piece of card that is 5 7/8 by 8 2/8. Now that's a standard card size in the UK. So from an A4 sheet you actually can get 2 of this size card. So 5 7/8 on here, and turn it, and it's 8 2/8 that way. Oh, my scorer's just fallen out. Okay, so 8 2/8. So on the 8 2/8 inch side, so it's the long side or the longer side of the piece you've got, you're going to score it at 4 1/8, and that is going to make your base card. So score it at 4 1/8 and then fold it in half just like that, and that's your base card. Okay, so that's the first piece we're going to need. The second piece is for the pillar, and that needs to be, again, you could do this in a coloured card. I've done mine in white mainly because it will show up on the video, but you can do this in any of the colours and that will really make your card be a wow. This needs to be 3 1/4 by 5 7/8 of an inch. So let's have a look. This is a bit bigger. So 5 7/8. Oh, that's handy. 5 7/8 that way, and 3 1/4 this way. So I turned it that way. 3 1/4, and I'm just cutting that bit off. Now we don't need this. So we just need this piece here. Now while we're here, we're going to score on the short side. So make sure you've got the short side at the top where you're going to do your scoring. And we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. Now I could do 3/4 on this side, but there's nothing to get hold of. So I'm going to do it on this side first. So move your cutting blade out the way, and it's 3/4. So I've got my score line, then I'm going to spin the card around so it's this side now, and I can carry on with the others. 3 1/4, so the next one is 1 1/2. So basically you are making this into 4 panels. So 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and then 3. Okay, so that is your panels, and you can just burnish those, do it with your hand, do it with your bone folder, just so that you know this is the piece that is going to be your pillar. So this one is a little bit more tricky because that is going to be the bit that tucks inside, but basically that is your pillar. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. And then the third bit, the layer on the front panel, is 4 inches by 4 1/4. Now I think I did do this already, yeah. So 4 inches by 4 1/4, and that's that one. And then on the 4 1/4 inch side, so make sure you've got that laying across the top, you're going to score it at 1/2. So again, I'm going to do that thing that I did just now. I'm going to score it on this side first at 1/2, and then I'm going to spin it round and do it at 1 1/4. The reason I do that is so that I've got something to hold on to, because if I try and do a 1/2 there and I put that down, I've got nothing. I can hold on this, but it's not really secure, and I want a nice straight line. So this one again is 4 by 4 1/4, and then on the 4 1/4 inch side you score at 1/2 and 1 1/4, and I'm just going to fold those so I can bring the pieces in and you can see what we've done so far. Okay, so we've got a base card, we've got a pillar, and we've got our panel for the front. So we're going to decorate those now before we glue them together. So this card front, that needs a piece of designer series paper that is 4 inches by 5 5/8. So I've already decided the colour that I'm going for this, and I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to give it a go. So I've gone with a really patterned background just because I love this, love the daisies, and on this one that is that panel there. So I'm hoping it's not going to take away my enjoyment of the front piece, but we'll see. It's worth a try, isn't it? So that's 4 inches, and this is 5 5/8. So I'm just going to stick that on if my glue works. Oh no, that's tricky. Right, let's get another one. I've got about, I don't know how many glues that I'm right at the end. Hey, you know when you can still feel there's something in there but you can't squeeze any more out? It's like, come on, you can do it, keep going. So this is my front panel, and I'm literally going to stick that straight on my card. Now this paper is a bit any way up, which means whichever way round. Oh, actually no, I don't think it is any way up, because those flowers look like they need to be a certain way. So I'm just going to put that on there, and I'm just making sure there's a border, a white border all the way round. And actually, looking at that now, I think that needed to be 3 7/8 rather than 4. So 3 7/8 by 5 5/8 would have looked better. No one will know. It's an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. My panel, I'm going to bring in here. Now these long pieces here, they need some designer series paper on them. They are really narrow, so they are 5/8 but by 5 3/4. So 5/8 is very narrow, it's just there, can you see? and that is going to go on like that. But they need to be 5 3/4. So I am just going to cut, not scar. Okay, so there's 1, and I actually need 3 of these. 5 3/4, 2, and then 3. And the 4th one that we've got cut, we are going to use that, but on something else in a minute. So don't get rid of that, put it to one side. So before I glue it down, I am just going to bring it over and see, because I want the grey side down. So what we are going to do is close this up tomorrow in a minute and make a panel. So we need to put the glue on just 3 of the panels. So we are going to put, not the glue, the paper. So we're going to put 1 on the outside. So where's my glue that worked? This one, and make sure that you've got it the right way round for the designer series paper that you want, because there's nothing worse than gluing something, realising it's wrong, and then you can't do anything about it. You have to just make another card so that it goes. Okay, so that's going to go on there. So that's 1. And then you're going to do the one next to it. Really, you could do all 4 panels. It's just that you're gluing 1 down. So if it's stressing you... Oh, what happened there? That's not the one I want. What is going on with my cutting? Oh my goodness me. Is that the right one? Oh. Do you know what? Don't talk and craft. That's the moral of that story. Okay, so that's 1, so I'm going to have to rescue the other one now. So 1 there, 1 there, and then I want 1, leave a gap and then do the other one. But this needs to be chopped down. So 5 3/4. What do I did that wrong? Who knows? Menopausal brain, that's what I will blame that on. Okay, so that definitely is the right size now. And it's definitely 5 3/4, so I'm not sure how I measured that wrong. Hey ho. No mistakes in crafting, just happy accidents. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, gap, 3. And then you're ready to stick this down. Now this is going to come round, but it's really hard to stick to that. So bring it round a whole panel. Put some glue on your little edge, not too much because you don't want it squirting out everywhere. And then bring this to it. Okay, so just like that. And did I bring my bone folder? No. You're just going to rub that down until it sticks. And then when you're sure it sticks, just do it sideways again and press it down again. I've got glue on my fingers, so it's rubbing off as I do it. Okay. Just make sure you've got a nice square pillow like that. Okay. So what do you do with that? You bring your card back in, and what you're aiming for, I'm going to actually close my card. You're aiming for it to be along here with the panel that hasn't got anything on it to the card. Okay, but I've also, what I've done is I've put the bit that joins, I've put that at the front so you don't notice it so much. So where it overlaps, I don't know if you can see there, I'm using that as my front and this bit is my back. So I'm going to put some glue on here way over, right down, and I'm going to stick it right along the edge of my card, making sure that it's in line top and bottom. Okay, I'm just going to give it a few moments to glue, but not too many, and then I'm going to squash it down so that it knows which way I want it to fold. Okay, just along there. So I've squashed it down. I'm just pressing hard along that edge because that's where the glue is. Okay, and then I'll bring it, pop it back up, and that's my panel. That's my pillar. Okay, the next bit. So this bit is the bit that's going to go on here. So we're going to decorate that. So this panel on the front of here is 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now this was pretty tricky. I didn't know which colour to do. I'm going to put big daisies on the front here. So it's no good me putting some more of this because they'll just get a bit lost. Excuse me. So I picked one of the colours that are out in the background. So this is Wild Wheat. There is a little story actually to my first card that I made. One of my team members, we've got a bit of a joke going on in our team about wild wheat. Oh, hang on. Oh, hopefully that's better. Having a drink. Yeah, we've got a bit of a fun joke going on about wild wheat not being the nicest colour. I won't tell you what we think it looks like, but you can use your imagination. And we've not really used it. Any of us have really used it. And then one of us, Sylvia, my lovely friend Sylvia, she used Pretty Peacock and Wild Wheat together, and it was a real a real wow moment. So Sylvia, this card is dedicated to you, because I wouldn't have done Wild Wheat if you hadn't have shared your love. Oh my goodness. Right, so this is a really beautiful daisy that's been covered in glue and stuck down so that you can see the wild wheat textured side. But look at that, okay? So that's going to go on there. Now I need a bit that goes along here, oh God, as well. So have I got a little scrap? Yeah. So I know that that's going to be 5/8. So I'm just going to cut that off at 5/8. Probably off camera, you probably can't see that. So there's 5/8. And I know that it is 4. So I'm going to do it 3 7/8 because it's an 1/8 of an inch smaller. And then let's just see if that fits on. Perfect. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to stick that on there. So do you think the daisies on the front of this card are going to look okay, or are they going to just merge into the background paper? Because the background paper is so beautiful. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm happy with that. You don't need it on here because you're going to tuck that bit in. I am just going to trim a tiny bit off here, just at an angle, just a triangle shape there. So really not much, just so you can't see that when it's folded. Okay, so what you do is fold that completely over, and what you fold this piece over, fold this piece over, and you're trying to work out where you want your panel to be. Do you want it butted right up to the edge there? Do you want a little frame there? Do you want it higher, lower? This is your card, so make it your own. I want a little bit of a border here and a little bit of a border there. So knowing that, I'm now going to pick it up and I'm just putting glue on the white folded over flap. So nowhere else, just on that. And I'm going to hold that closed again, and I'm really going to put it where I want it. And I'm just going to press down on this bit that's got the glue on, okay, until I'm happy with it. So I think that will be stuck because it's Tombow. So now I'm going to bring this pillar back up, bring this over, and I'm going to see where that goes. Yep, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to fold it down flat again, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just along this edge. Not loads, but just enough to stick it in place. Bring that back over. Make sure your pillar is folded down flat, and then fold the rest of your card. You're doing it while it's flat so that you know it will go in an envelope nicely. Okay, so when you're happy with that, you can try it out. Just give it a little bit of help the first few times. But there is your pillar card. Ta-da! So now you just get to decorate it. So, daisies. So I've already die cut the daisies, and I've already die cut the top bits that go on them. And I'm just going to layer those up with you. There's a leaf on there that I'm not going to need. I could colour it with my Stampin' Blends, but I've got some other leaves that I've done that I'm going to put on. So that is going to go there. But I also have a sentiment, so I need to think about where I want that. And also where it's going to be when it's flat. Because when it's like that, I think, oh, I could have it really sticking out. But when I close the card, it's sticking out too much. So place your sentiment first. You can have it overhanging a bit, but do it while the card is folded flat. So the sentiment that I'm going to use is the one in the set, in the daisy set, which is wishing you the brightest birthday. And do I have a block? Yep. So I've got my stamping block, and I'm going to put my sentiment on there. And I think I am going to use Garden Green because that's one of the colours that are in the background paper. So let's try that. So just tap gently once or twice, and then I'm just going to bring it down so I can see it. And you just press on that. Ta-da! Okay. Now I'm not going to put a dimensional on it. I'm just going to put it on. But before I glue it, I'm just going to lay it and decide where my daisies are going to go. So probably about there. So about there. Okay, so I know that I need it right near the top in the corner. Just about there, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Yep. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now these are going to be layered on the top. So this one goes on here. So before I get anywhere near it with glue, I'm just holding this up to it to see where it goes. Because I don't want to be with glue thinking, oh, is it this one, is it that one? Okay. So, let's have a look. So this is a shorter side. So that looks about right. But is that? Not quite, is it? Is that? About there, I reckon. Don't you? Yeah. So there's a real sort of thin piece there that is going to go on that piece there. So I'm going to keep hold of that, put some glue on the back, because all I need to remember is where that one piece went, and then the rest will line up. And you can see I'm not covering it in loads of glue. So that was on there, and then the rest will just line up like so. Ta-da! Okay, so that's that one. This one is pretty obvious because it's just half of one. So I'm going to put some glue on there. Again, not loads of glue, just a dab here and there. Because I want it to be pretty free so that it leaves a shadow where it's not glued, if that makes any sense. If it's stuck down flat, it doesn't look very real. And this one, so this one again, you could take the middle bit out, it's up to you. I haven't taken the die cut pieces out of there because it doesn't matter, you're not going to see it anyway. Oh, first time. So there's a little bit of a bent petal there that goes there. So I'm just going to do that. Now I did toy with putting a bit of colour on these, but then they lose their daisiness. Does that make sense? Daisiness. That's a new word. Okay, so there's that. But again, I'm leaving it so that they're a bit floaty, a bit loose. I don't want them to be really stuck down. I want them to be standing up a little bit, so I'm just going to bend them back a bit. Okay, like that, because the glue is holding it mainly. What's next? The other pieces. Now, where did I put those? So I've got a piece of card here, and in the stamp set, there's these two little dies, this one and this one. Okay, so one here and one here, and they're for the middle of the flowers. Now on my paper, on my paper it's lemon lolly and crushed curry. So I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to do it slightly different. I'm not just going to stamp. So there's my lemon lolly, like that. And then I'm going to take my crushed curry. This is a Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to use the thin end. And where the dots are really merged together, I'm going to add some more dots, but in crushed colour. Okay, so just like that. And more down one side than the other side. And it just takes on a whole new lease of life. So on here it's going to look nothing, just somebody's done a load of dots, okay, like that. But can you see how much different it looks to the one that's just one colour? And then there is dies in there to die cut it, but actually I want it really quite tight to the middle of the flower. I don't really want to see very much white. So I am going to just fussy cut, just cut that off a minute, fussy cut really quite near. Just making sure it's not straight, it's all a bit higgledy-piggledy wobbly. Okay, so that straight away looks like a different shape now. So that is going to go on there, like so. And I'm just going to put it on with glue. I did put the other one on at first with dimensionals and it just looked a bit silly. It looked like it was floating. Whereas this just looks like it's standing out a bit. Okay, so you see it's gone from a flat flower to a slightly 3D flower. I'm going to cut out this one the same. And then we are nearly done, I promise. Just the leaves. There you go. Let's put that on that way around. Okay, and one more. I got one I done earlier. Here's another one. So this wild wheat, Sylvia, has really come into its own. It's suddenly gone from not sure to, oh, this is lovely. Okay. Stampin' Up are amazing at doing that. They put colours together that you would not choose, and then when you see them on the designer series paper, you're just a bit in awe, and it just gives you so much inspiration. That's why I love it. Okay, so there's my flower. Now I want to be careful how I stick this on. I'm not going to put it on dimensionals because I don't want it to stand up any wider than it already does. So I'm just going to put some glue on there, some glue on the flowery bits, and that is it really, so that I can tuck leaves behind. So I can make sure that it goes here, make sure that it overlaps my sentiment, and because I've just put glue in the middle, I can press down quite happily. And then my leaves, I've stamped them from the set, and I have die cut them because I like the shape that it gives you. And I'm going to put glue on one end, just on one, so that it floats a bit, and I'm just going to tuck them behind. Okay, and I'm sort of, what I might do actually is put some small dimensionals on the ends, just because it helps keep them up. And I've got 5, so I am going to put 2 together there, and then I'm going to put 1 up there, and then I've got 2 more. Oh, I forgot the other bit as well. So I've also got a bit of this. You know the bit I said that looked like seaweed? So maybe that could go there. So again, I'm just putting some glue on one piece, not smothering the whole thing in glue. That's going to go there. Now these leaves, there. Yep. Oh, there's a cat meowing. Can you hear her? She's like, let me in. Okay. Before I started videoing, oh my goodness me, I was chasing her around the kitchen. She was trying to get a fly. Oh, I didn't think I was ever going to get to the video. Hang on, Rose. Okay. Ta-da! Oh my goodness, I love it. And let me bring back the original that I did. So this is my ode to Sylvia, Pretty Peacock and Wild Wheat, and this is Wild Wheat and Garden Green. Look at that. But can you see how different it looks doing the centre of the flowers just with that extra colour of dot? These were just done in one colour, and the Wild Wheat and then I put some Wink of Stella on. So actually in person they do glitter, but I actually think I prefer this method. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you stayed till the end, thank you so much, and I hope to see you for some more crafting very soon. Don't forget, you can find me on my website at creativethetottaway.co.uk and send me pictures of your makes because I love to see them. Thanks for watching. Bye.